I know that we've talked about insomnia before, but I wanted to get a little more of a detailed look at it. Um, I recently had the worst bout of insomnia that I've ever had, where literally you lay down, you close your eyes, you wait, nothing happens. You're not. It's not necessarily that you're not tired. You go through moments of tiredness, extreme tiredness, and not really, not really wanting to go to sleep. But you're laying there, you do nothing. Your mind starts to wander because you're getting bored, and this goes on for like literally hours. I remember one time I went to bed at like, I want to say it was like 9. Yeah, really tired that day, and I did not fall asleep until I think it was 2:30 in the morning. So that's a really long time to lay there and do nothing. That's like 5 hours of trying to go to sleep, tossing and turning, and just nothing happening. Uh, I've always had a hard time going to sleep in the sense of having anxiety about having to go to sleep, but this was different, and it was really one of the hardest. You deal with it at night, then you start thinking about it during the day, and you start overthinking it, and you're overstressing, and then you're just so tired you can't even think if you could just have a nap. But then if you do have a nap, it just makes it harder to go to sleep at night. So it's just like this, it really starts to get to you. So I just wanted to take another look at it and see if we can maybe come up with some better options. Number one, the first step towards helping to resolve your insomnia. I know that some people are going to struggle with this for a long time, but there are things that we can do uh, to make matters better. Just like with depression, you may always have depression, but you can do things that make your depression not as bad. That's what I'm talking about here. Now, um, I I want to mention that it is more of a symptom, it seems, than a cause. But I'll come back to that. So first off, exercise and eat healthy. If you are a very inactive person, you're eating a bunch of junk food, that's not going to do much for helping you to go to sleep. So kind of getting healthier overall is going to help you your insomnia maybe not being as intense. Um, but another thing is and I'll talk about this in just a minute, but your mental health too. Like if you're worrying about stuff, and I'll come right back to that. Um, so the first thing, exercise and eat healthy. Take your physical health seriously. Number two, get off the TV. If you're sitting around all day watching TV, especially you see people having sleeping problems during this whole COVID thing. They're freaking out about COVID. They're not having good sleeping patterns. They're not being healthy. They're worrying themselves out. They're overstressed, overtired, and then they can't go to sleep. And so get off the TV. Really, honestly, get off the TV. Um, Especially in the evenings, find a different way to relax. Find a different way to kind of unwind. Books are great. Just talking with someone else, a human being, and maybe physical touch. Sometimes, we're just lonely, and it's hard to sleep when you're over lonely, super, super lonely. So, that's the second thing. Number three, have no screens, no screen time whatsoever, 5 hours before bedtime. Don't be messing with your phone when you're trying to go to sleep. Don't have a show going. You can like play music or something on your phone and set it aside where it's not gonna you can't see the light and you're not messing with it or something. That's a little bit different. But when you're on your phone, not only does it wake you up, it kind of tells your brain, hey, we're doing something right now. But then also, I mean, they've done a lot of research about the effects of blue light and how it can affect you. So that's one thing that you can really do that helps to kind of your body to go into more sleep mode. Don't go to sleep when you're too tired. Don't wait too long to go to sleep. Like let's say you normally go to night and go to bed at like 10. Going to bed at like 2 or 3 in the morning would have obviously messed up your sleeping cycle, and your body, especially the older you get, is just gonna be like, I can't do this. Sleep isn't something you can just turn on and turn off. Your body needs a regular pattern. It needs sleep. It needs rest. And it might be inconvenient, but you do have to kind of work around it. It's kind of like eating. Eating can be a little bit inconvenient, but you do still need to work around it. Pooping. Pooping can be inconvenient, but you have to work around your body's natural cycle. So, um, exercise and eat healthy. Get off the TV. Don't have any screens 5 hours before bedtime. De-stress or lower your overall stress levels. So, Maybe get rid of things that you're doing that is causing you too much. Maybe you signed up for too much. Maybe you're trying to work too much. Maybe you're trying to get too much stuff done at one time because I want this done and this done. Maybe take a break from school. Maybe take a break from those activities that you're involved in. Maybe just kind of try simplifying things. You don't have to be so busy all the time. Maybe instead of your kids signing up for 4 or 5 sports, maybe just have one sport that they sign up for. Teach them not to live their life so busy all the time too, and it will really help lower your overall stress. And then find ways to de-stress throughout the day. You have a very intense encounter. Take a break. Kind of just now, not by smoking. That's terrible on your lungs. I mean more like go for a walk. You can have a 15-minute smoke break, or you can have a 15-minute walk break. I mean, find some way to lower your stress level. Get a squeeze ball or something. In the afternoons, maybe just spend an hour just resting and playing music and just listening. Before bedtime, have a time when you can just sit down and do nothing. Maybe even rest your eyes a little bit. And who knows, you might accidentally fall asleep. So de-stress, lower your overall stress. You have to find things to organize your time schedule, so the time that you do have won't be so stressful. But then also you need to organize times that you can de-stress. You need a day of the week when you have off, no work, no pressing activities. If you have to do laundry, do it on a work day or something like that. You need to have a time when you can just. And you might say, well, I can't do that. I know, that's kind of part of the problem. Try to clear it up as much as you can, so you can do little things like that, or at least do it more than you're doing it now. So de-stress and lower overall stress. Have a nighttime routine. Sometimes people do it in different ways. Number one, some people with insomnia do something like this. I take my hot bath, I read my book, I play my music, I go to sleep, something like that, right? But that's not exactly what I'm talking about, because sometimes those nighttime routines can kind of stress you out. So find out if it works for you. If it does, hey, great. I'm more talking about 9:30 is the time that I go to bed. That is my nighttime routine. I lock the doors, I brush my teeth, I get in bed at 9:30. It's my routine. It makes me feel like everything's taken care of. Okay, for some people, maybe have a to-do list. Hey, tomorrow I need to do this, this, and this. And then when you start thinking about it, you can say, no, I already wrote that down for tomorrow. That's tomorrow. Today I have nothing else to do. All that I'm doing right now is relaxing. So what sometimes we do is we turn sleep itself into kind of a to-do list. Oh, I gotta hurry up and go to sleep. And it's like, okay, just calm down. It's okay. If you go to sleep, hey, great. If you don't, okay, it's not the end of the world. Laying down and being calm and closing your eyes are gonna help you out anyways, regardless of whether it ends in sleep. So make the goal not so much sleep as it is relax, and eventually your body will kind of catch up with it. But keep in mind that this only really works if you have a steady pattern. Let's say, for instance, you're sleeping all day. Well, let's say you're not getting up when you should in the morning. You have to have a set kind of pattern to follow. And your body needs to know, what time are we going to sleep? What time are we getting up? When are we doing these things? How is it going to work out? And then stick with it. And you won't see an immediate fix. This is something that you build into your body. And we'll talk about the idea of having your bedroom as a safe place and what I mean by that. And I'll come back to that. Sometimes you won't be able to get to sleep because of a vitamin deficiency or something that's otherwise bothering your body. The B vitamin complexes can be a cause. If you're on certain medications, it can cause it where you can't go to sleep. These are things that you might want to talk with your doctor about. I would highly discourage you from taking sleeping aids, like pills to go to sleep. Because what'll happen is it'll kind of confuse your body, and then your body may even become, where it needs that. It's better to just miss a few nights of sleep and let your body, reorient itself by itself. In the long run, it has a better effect. I know that's not necessarily on everybody's schedule, but look for other signs of vitamin deficiencies. What are your nails doing? Are they kind of at the edges? Are they at the edges having problems? Is your hair having problems? What's your facial, not expression, but your my brain farting. Complexion. What's your complexion looking like? Are you looking healthy? Are you looking thin? Is your color off? That kind of stuff. Um, check for signs of vitamin deficiency. I know it sounds odd, but maybe also inspect color and smell of urine. And once again, be on the lookout for what your bowels are doing. Um, Maybe even think about going to the doctor for just a checkup, just to see if they can see anything that looks off in your blood or anything like that. So, um, another thing is if you have a guilty conscience, you're gonna want to try and clear that conscience. Maybe you have an issue with your father. Maybe he did something wrong. I don't know. I wasn't there. Whatever. My point being, make peace with that situation. Make peace with your father, even if it wasn't your fault. Do whatever you can to rectify that situation where you have a clear conscience. Because if you're trying to go to sleep without a clear conscience, it'll just always be in the back of your head, and it'll cause a bunch of health problems. And I mean, I've seen it 100 times. And I just can't seem to find the solution. I mean, I see young adults, for instance, all the time having stress and anxiety disorders, and come to find out they're still living with their parents. There's a certain point when you're an adult, you need to probably think about moving out. It's just too big of a stressor. Another thing that can cause bad sleeping is dark themed things, such as horror movies or stuff like that. People have experienced all kinds of different things, from sleeping problems to seeing things that weren't there, all kinds of different stuff like that. So it is something that you might want to consider cutting out of your life. But now, next up, treat your sleeping place as a special place. Have it as the only thing that you do there is sleep, and if sex. But I mean, that. Don't do work on your bed. Don't study on your bed. Don't have it where where you sleep is a very active place. Have it as a calming place, a darker place. Maybe not bright paints. Colors can have a big impact on us, even without us noticing it. But treat it as a special place. Maybe it has a water fountain or something. Maybe it has a music playing, just real soft music, nothing real like crazy or anything. Not a whole bunch of screens. Maybe even having it as a screen-free place. Turn off your ringer and silence texts and calls after a certain time, probably about like 6. Your body needs to have that break, and honestly, for your own mental stress, mental health, you need to make sure not to, be working all the time. Have clear times of no more. Another thing is, a study showed that caffeine can affect your sleeping up to 16 hours after you've taken it. And they talk about how long it takes for half-life of caffeine and all these different things. But moral of the story being, find for you a cutoff time for having caffeine or high levels of caffeine. Maybe, for instance, don't have any coffee after 11 in the morning. Maybe narrow your caffeine intake to like maybe 1 or 2 cups of coffee. Some of us are caffeine junkies, and it's just completely messing with our system. Now, that's going to take a while for your body to recover from. If you go from like 8 cups of coffee down to like 1 or 2, your body's going to be like, whoa, and you're going to have pretty bad headache. So, and keep that in mind, but have a cutoff during the day. Oh, that's what old people do. Yeah, there's a reason why old people do it. It can mess with your sinuses and all kinds of stuff. I know one guy, he was 70-something at the time, but he had coffee too late in the day, and he actually got real disillusioned during the night when he had to get up to go pee because of, just his equilibrium being off, sinus congestion, and all that stuff. And caffeine does wreak havoc on that kind of stuff, so keep an eye on that. Another thing is, deal with the cause rather than the symptom. Insomnia is a symptom, so instead of dealing with that, focus on what is causing it. Find out. Sometimes it's multiple things that are causing it. I notice that when I get too stressed, it causes my anxiety spike, which means I don't absorb the vitamins that I should be absorbing, which means I need a vitamin supplement. And when I don't have that, it causes my anxiety to flare out of control, which I don't even realize is happening. And then it makes it where I can't sleep, and then it makes it... all these different things happen as a cause of stress. And obviously not getting stress relief, getting up and walking outside, kind of allowing your body to decompress, things like that. Surprise, surprise, working, endless hours is not what your body was made for. Who would have ever figured that out? So deal with the cause, discover the cause. instead of trying to treat the symptom. Stick to sleeping hours that work for you. Just make sure that you stick with them. Maybe you're going to bed at 10 and getting up at like 6. I don't know. I'm not trying to tell you, and I don't know whether you work during the day or the night or whatever. Just find something and stick with it, no matter what. Maybe even have an alarm, an hour and a half before you reach that time, so okay, I'm getting close to that time when I need to, start getting ready for bed. Another thing I do is I actually get ready for bed before my time, so I can have a time of just calm and relaxing before I have my sleep time. That way, if I fall asleep during that, it's okay. And otherwise, I don't feel like I'm like in a rush to get to sleep. It's like, hey, it's all right. Whatever happens. Typically, don't plan things out too narrow. Like, let's say, for instance, you have an appointment at 6 in the morning. You don't want to say, okay, so if I need at least 6 hours of sleep, I need to go to sleep at 12, and so then you're getting into bed at 12. Well, the problem with that is your brain's not going to do that. It's not. So then you're going to try to toss and turn for like minimum of 30 minutes. And then, assuming that you do get to sleep at 12:30, you have less than 6 hours of sleep, and then you have to wake up before 6 because your meeting is actually at 6. See what I mean? And then you might have a problem sleeping because you're worried that you might oversleep your meeting. You kind of get what I'm saying? You have to kind of look at your schedules and kind of organize it a little bit. I'm not naturally, I don't organize well. I know. Learn how to. I don't organize well either. I learned how to do that back in college. It's definitely a life skill that you need. So stick to your sleeping hours. Don't take naps. If at all possible, do not take naps. If you do have to take a nap, if something comes up, make sure it's in the morning, not in the afternoon. And make sure you got enough time to decompress again before you have to go to sleep again. Like maybe you have a really intense work day where you work really hard in the mornings and really hard in the evenings. Well, then taking an afternoon nap wouldn't be that big of a deal because, you get up early, you do some stuff, you go to work, you take a little nap and eat, you get up and you work real hard again, and you do some other stuff and you go to sleep. Well, it's not going to matter that much, but typically cut out naps, especially if you're having insomnia. Do not sleep in. Sometimes we try to overcompensate. I didn't sleep good yesterday, so I had to sleep 12 hours tonight. No, that's going to make it worse. Oh, well, it's 6 o'clock, I should get up, but I didn't sleep really well. I didn't even get to sleep till 3 o'clock, so I'm gonna go back to sleep. No, that's gonna make it worse. You have to train your body. Now, I know that's hard, but it's something you still got to stick to if you want to ever get out of this or make any kind of traction. Get up if you can't go to sleep. Don't just lie there for forever. You lay there for like 30 minutes. If it's not happening, get up. Maybe decompress a little bit. Read a book or something, try something else, and then try going back again later. Don't make it too stressful. I have to be in this bed with this pillow lying in this position at this time. Give yourself some break. It's not an exact science. If you don't go to bed, if your bedtime is at 11 and you don't go to bed until like 11:15, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Just kind of make it not so stressful. Do something calming before you go to bed, like reading. I know I've already mentioned that. I want to mention it again. Maybe try playing music while you lay down and just calm down instead of trying to go to sleep. I already mentioned that. Even if you don't go to sleep, that relaxation is better than nothing. Don't be too busy in your life, like where you have things back to back, everything. Your life is so scheduled and so busy that you don't even have time for life. Obviously you want to reduce being over busy as much as you can. And then try and keep work in its box. Your life is not work. After you're gone, the work will continue. I mean, it's just not the most important thing in your life. And don't try to find a job that'll make you happy either. Work and then get paid for the job and, then live your life. But still be active. Make sure that you're exercising, that kind of stuff. Obviously, you don't want to overstrain your body. That can make it hard to go to sleep because you'll be too tired. Try to trick yourself into sleep. I mentioned this earlier, but maybe let's say your bedtime is 10. So then at 9 o'clock, have your teeth brushed and lay down and just kind of play music and just listen to it and just calm down. One thing that I used to do, which got me through a lot of my high school years, was I would put an alarm for 10 minutes. because I was scared to go to sleep. And so then if I fell asleep, I didn't really have to worry because my alarm would wake me up in 10 minutes. But what would happen inevitably is as the alarm went off, it would, I would be able to relax. Okay, the alarm's coming. It's okay. I can fully relax. And then when the alarm did go off, I would eventually get more and more tired and more in that hazy place where sleep was more sweet and welcoming, where I didn't have to stress out about it. Let's see, what else? So trick yourself into sleep. Start facing your mental health. If there's things that you're extremely worried or stressed about, maybe seek counseling about it. Do something to try and fix that. Just as you need to be paying attention to your physical health, be paying attention to your mental health too. If you're an emotional mess, it's really going to be a problem when you're trying to do things like deal with insomnia. If you can't sleep though, and just some closing ideas, these won't really help, or a few of these won't really help with sleep, but it's just kind of an overall attitude and mindset. If you can't sleep, just be thankful for whatever sleep you do get. Don't worry about the sleep that you didn't get and stress out about it and complain. It just takes you to a different place in your head. Instead, take the time to just, hey, you know what? I got 30 minutes of sleep last night. All right, things could be worse. And when you start looking at it differently, it becomes not so much a stressful task, and it becomes something where your whole outlook will kind of change. If you're constantly a negative person, you're going to have a hard time sleeping. In life, and more specifically, when you are getting ready to go to sleep, don't be rushed. Oh, I got to hurry up and go to sleep. If you go to sleep, it's okay. If you don't, it's okay. It's all right. Don't be irritated. Oh, I can't believe I'm still awake. You're never going to go to sleep like that. Sometimes what helps is sometimes praying. It can help people feel more, because they get caught up in things and they kind of unwind, and then their thoughts slow and they don't realize that their thoughts are slowing, and then they fall asleep, and it's okay. And if you have this sense of waiting for an impending doom, like, oh, I was just in dread of going to sleep or not going to sleep, or all these different things, try and distract yourself. Sometimes putting something on the background like an audiobook can help. In fact, there's a lot of audiobooks that, are purposefully boring, read by people with monotone voices, where it's easy to fall asleep. And I already said about with impending doom, fooling yourself into going to sleep. And now sometimes I've noticed that I will have kind of a irritated feeling, and what helps me then is if I fully allow myself to wake up. Get up, go pee, allow myself to wake up, and then lay back down and start from scratch. Sometimes it's better than, having that irritated feeling in your back, where you're just like tossing and turning, and you're getting madder and madder, and just something feels off and you can't fully unwind. It just kind of feels like you're, in fact, sometimes if I just get up and go pee, it really helps. Which is another thing. If you're drinking too much too late, it can cause you to need to go pee too much, and that can keep you from getting into good restful sleep, which can cause back pain and all kinds of different things as well. So if you have to wake yourself up, make sure to calm down and then intentionally relax. You can't just say, okay, it's time to relax. No, you have to intentionally relax. Start with your fingers. Try loosening up the muscles consciously, going up the arm, going up the body, loosening up parts, the different parts, your toes, your feet, repositioning your legs where you can loosen up the muscles, then focus on your breathing. See, calming down. You're teaching your body for the future, but also you're making it where it's easier to relax. Now, we live in such a go society that it's hard to remember. It's okay to just step back and take a break. And I already mentioned, I'm just going to highlight it again. Stick to a schedule. Stick to a sleeping schedule. Try to go to sleep, and if it doesn't work, maybe shift positions. And then make it where okay, so I'm going to stay in this position for at least 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, okay. If it doesn't work after like 30 minutes, get up and do something else, and then go back. Try later. But it's important that you make your sleep and make your bed as calming place. And if you aren't able to go to sleep, just cut it out and get up so that your bed can remain a quiet and calming place. I hope that this was helpful, and yeah, I might do another insomnia video in the future. See ya!